you smell that? It smells like crunchy leaves and pumpkin pie spice. Welcome to another edition of Katy Keene Recreations. So if you're new here, this is part of a series that has been ongoing for a little while now. Katy Keene was a comic book from the mid-50s, and then she was canceled and then came back in the 80s. She was created by the same person who made Archie, so her storylines are a lot similar to that. But the big difference between Katy and Archie is that in Katy's comic, she had paper dolls, and the paper doll outfits were created by readers. So people would send in a description of the outfit they want Katy to wear, and the creator, Bill Wagan, would draw these up and put them in the comic. So on the paper doll page, you would see the outfit, and then next to it would be the person's name and sometimes their address and their age. So these outfits get really, really wild. And it has been my absolute pleasure to recreate some of these. I love Katy. I love Katy. So a year ago, I made this wild outfit from Katy. So this particular outfit was sent in by Nelson Madman Bridwell, and a viewer happened to find out who he was. And he was the creator of Mad Comics. Madman, there you go. So he came up with this. And as I was like searching through my Katy pages, I found this, which is also one of Bridwell's designs. And so I thought, well, that's perfect. Just do another one of his. I don't know how many he has in the comics. These are the only two I found. On this page, it says that there is a description on the next page. So I don't have full comics. I just have pages. So I had to go digging to find the description. And I'm not gonna read it all to you because it was written in the 50s, and in the 50s, there were things that people thought was funny that's just not funny, and we don't say those things anymore. So some of the I'll read a little bit of it. I'm not reading it all, oh my God. All right, so let's look at this. It says, this hat is the most outlandish thing this side of Outland. I don't know what Outland is. Maybe it's the city they live in? I don't think so, but seems the paintbrush got into Katy's eyes. Excuse the window. There's a window on the hat. Skipping that bit. The wings are handy. If the hat gets blown off, it flies back to Katy like a homing pigeon. The dress is my masterpiece. Note the limp watch shoulder strap, straight from the persistence of memory. The belt has a beautiful eye buckle, and notice the fur at the bottom, which isn't ermine, it's vermine. Lemon-dyed house rat. This is the best I could do. The handbag, shaped like a tooth, is handy. Is handy, get it? If you're fixing your face, the mouth carries on a conversation with your beau. Because men are so stupid, they'll talk to a purse. If you drop your compact, your purse can pick it up with the hand. The shoes are nice, but Katy couldn't stand up in them or they'll collapse. And then he goes on to talk about his name. It's Bridwell, not Birdwell. So that's the description we get. So I couldn't get rat fur, but to be honest, I didn't try to get rat fur. I just found this, which is awful, but you know, it will do. And for fabrics, I have these two. Ooh, this is bright. Let's hold it back here. I have these two. I got this satin yellow and also this satin green. Lovely shine. I thought those would be nice for this costume. I don't know how I'm gonna make this bag. I don't know how to make it shaped like a tooth. So there's gonna be a lot of like messing around and figuring stuff out because I don't know. Can we just really quick, let's take a close-up of this hat. We all will notice that it is a little phallic in shape. We're gonna ignore that. We're gonna ignore that because we are gonna make the hat this time. I know last time I didn't make the hat, but it was a whole damn bird, okay? I don't wanna hear it. I know some of y'all were upset about it, but like, why don't you make the hat for me and I'll do another photo shoot with the hat, okay? Anyways, back to this hat. The hat also has a window. We got wings, we got a paintbrush. We also got this big feather on the top, which I don't have. There's a little guy up there. And then let's look at the purse really close. We got the mouth that talks apparently, and the hand, which is delightful. I cannot wait to make this hand. There's also a price tag for $1 million. Katy spent a lot on this purse. It doesn't look like a tooth to me. It looks more like a misshapen head, like a Frankenstein head, you know? So the goal is to make the dress, the bag, and the hat. I don't think I'm gonna make the shoes because it's too many things. My last video, I made a whole freaking wardrobe and I'm a little tired. So we're gonna keep it simple, but fun. Oh, we'll also make gloves. I didn't say that. We'll make the gloves. Pretty sure we can do that. Let's start with the dress. Let's start with the dress, I guess. Oh, and also I broke my sewing machine because I am impatient and the thread got stuck and I yanked it instead of trying to like cut it, and I messed it up a bit. So Bertha is out of commission. So we're gonna be using this lovely lady over here, Bonnie Julep, which I'm not like super thrilled about, but I mean, she's a great working machine. There's just some conveniences that I have really gotten used to with Bertha that Bonnie doesn't have. So, but we're gonna make do. Let's start by patterning out this dress, shall we?
I kept things really simple when patterning this one. I left the darts and just added a sweetheart neckline. I also took about ½ inch off of the sides because I wanted this to be quite tight. I basically took out the ease from the pattern. For the skirt, I just extended the block down and did a little swoop at the bottom, just really eyeballing it.
Guess what? We're not gonna do a mock-up because why? Also, I might have just broken this machine because there's this little thing, which I think is part of the tension, and my sleeve caught it and pulled it. So I don't know if it works. Also, don't remember how to thread this machine. I think it's like this. Should not have threaded that with the foot down. Shouldn't thread your machine with the foot down because it engages the tension. Let's give it a try. See if I did this right and make sure it's not broken. Seems okay. Oh, it's going backwards. I was like, this is weird. I don't know why, but it feels weird. This will work. Great. I'm using black thread instead of a matching green thread because I can't be bothered to thread another bobbin because it takes a different bobbin than my other machine, and I just don't feel like it. Also, it's a partly cloudy day, so the sun's gonna come in and out of the clouds, and I know my exposure is gonna change. I'm sorry. Let's sew some dirt. There's a little something like special about using this old machine. And I'm so used to my other one because it's like self-threading, self-cutting, and the foot always stops down. So I get really used to the convenience. I think part of the novelty is the sound. My new machine does not sound like this. Let me tie off all these strings and then press them and then sew them, the tops and bottoms together. I got double the top, front, and back so that I have a lining for the top because we need to add a little bit of structure. If you don't have structure in something that is strapless, then it's going to be very hard to keep it up. Let me get this pressed and then we can sew it together.
To make the weird orange belt thing that the eyeball goes on, I just draw a rough shape for the center and the top of one side and then fold the paper in half and trace over that and then unfold it and then fold it in the other direction and trace it again. So that this way, when I unfold everything, it's all symmetrical. Trace it onto my fabric and cut it out. I don't want the edges to fray, so I use some fray check. This stuff can stain sometimes, but I wasn't too worried about it with this particular fabric. Now time to bedazzle. Oh, did you think I was gonna go a whole Katy video without bedazzling something? You silly goose. These are hot fix rhinestones, but instead of heating them up one at a time with the silly little tool, I set a bunch down and then heat them all up with my iron. Now for the yellow bit above the orange belt. I don't know what this is, but I do the same thing I did with the orange belt, where I just kind of eyeball half of it and then fold the paper in half and retrace it so it's symmetrical. A new fray check would really stain this fabric, but it's totally polyester, so I use a candle to lightly toast the edges. I should have cut it out with a hot knife, but I totally forgot I had one. Oh well. Now we just glue it down. Here I'm sewing down the bias tape around the clock shoulder strap. I guess I forgot to film any of the making of it except for this part, so oops. And then I add rhinestones for the clock numbers. Okay, so I've kind of been jumping all over the place, but here's the front. The front, it's a little stained. That's my bad from the hot glue, but whatever. And then the back is in two pieces. I need to put the zipper in it. And I have the two eyeballs for the back of the hands. And that is where we're at. Let's make the hand and the tongue, I guess, is next. Again, I am all over the place with this project, so I guess I'm just doing things that I am like, yeah, I know how to do that, instead of doing things like the gloves, which I have to figure out, and the purse, which I have to really figure out, because like, how do you make it look like a tooth? What am I supposed to make this out of? Ridiculous. Let's make a hand, I guess. Okay, let's see if I can make Ash Bentley proud with this hand. Starting with armature wire, I make a skeleton. I'm not really sure if this part was necessary, but I've never made a hand before, so... Then I cover the whole thing in foil, trying to keep the shape as best I can. I had to use pliers in some parts to really smush them down tighter. Now we cover the whole thing in foam clay. The hand is quite large, larger than I intended it to be, so the foam clay should keep it from getting too heavy. I try to bulk up the meaty part of the thumb and the knuckles, and then use some water to smooth everything out. I also made a tongue out of foam clay, but didn't film that part. Sorry. Next up is the little guy on the hat. Just like the hand, I use foil to make the skeleton. Decide I don't need his whole body and rip all the limbs off, and I decided to use air dry clay for this guy because it's hard to sculpt detail into foam clay and actually have it stay. I don't really know what to say about this one. In the image, it's just a little guy with a round head and big ears, so that's just what I tried to do. His body, on the other hand, is so terribly wrong. I mean, it's fine. It's wonky as hell, but it works, kind of. I mean, you get what it is, so it's fine, right?
Hi. I just woke up from a nap that I didn't know I needed, but apparently I did. Progress report. The back now has a zipper. I just did a lapped zipper, and no, I still did not change the thread because I cannot be bothered with silly little things like matching thread right now. The lining has boning channels. Just need to cut the bones, but I'll put those in after I attach it to the front. So the dress just needs construction now, and then we gotta somehow sew or, let's be honest, glue on some rat fur. I have a hand. It fell over last night, so I had to perform surgery this morning because the back of the hand was all like ripply and messed up. Foam clay does not hold any shape at all. Just totally smooth by this morning. It is still wet from fixing it, so I will paint it after it's dry. Got a tongue. What? That's not a real tongue. Why did that bother me so much? Really upset now. Well, it's still really wet in the middle, but there's a tongue. And then I started on this little guy's head. I mean, just not really anything to say about that. Just date some, what's it called? Quick seal, and maybe fill in those gaps just a little bit so he's not so crackly. I have a tummy ache because Trader Joe put out these milk chocolate gummy bears. And they're my new obsession, and I've eaten half a bag, which is, turns out, too many gummy bears for one sitting. For the hat, I have decided to make it a pointed witch's hat because this, with the feather coming out, just felt a little too suggestive for my liking. And also, I don't know how to sew a dome. I mean, I could probably figure it out if I really, really wanted to, but I don't really want to. So it's gonna be a point now, and I can do that because it's my video, I can do whatever I want. I have also forgotten how much I like using this machine. It's a really good machine. I mean, it only does one thing. So no, I was gonna use a zigzag stitch to kind of like satin stitch over the eyeballs, but not happening. Update on my machine. My partner decided that they would try to help and like take it apart and see if they could fix it. But sewing machines are magic, and only wizards or sorcerers should be allowed to work on them. So they are not a wizard or sorcerer, have any kind of magical inclinations. So it's kind of broken more. But they very kindly ordered me a brand new one. So I have a new machine coming in, I guess tomorrow, I think. But I'm just gonna finish out this video with this guy. She's great. A great workhorse, this one. I mean, as long as you don't need literally anything besides a straight stitch, which is most of sewing. So, you know, she's great. I still don't know how I'm gonna sew the bag together, so let's keep procrastinating on that. And we will move on to the gloves. No, first the dress. Let's put the dress together and then let's do the gloves. Let's go.
I didn't have enough fur, so I decided to cut it in half long ways, so now I have double the fur. A tip for cutting fake fur is to cut it from the back and stay very close to the backing. This way, the pieces separate nicely without getting hair all over the place. Now that I have the desired width, I glue it down with hot glue. Hot glue is really the star of this project because it is literally holding everything together. For the little black spots on the fur, I remembered that I had a feather boa from a previous project, so I cut that up and glued them down. This was not the original plan, but I'm glad I went with it because the feathers are really perfect. Let's mix up some paint to make a flesh tone to paint the hand. I wanted to give it some more details once it dried, but I kind of ran out of time, so it's a little flat. And some pink for the little tongue.
I just want to take a second because we all saw the image and we were like, yeah, that's kind of a crazy dress, right? But like, I don't think we've fully understood how crazy it looks in real life because with this trim, like, really hits different in real life. Dress is done. I'm gonna start working on the gloves now, and then the hat, I'm kind of working on the pieces of the hat as I go because everything needs to be sculpted and painted. So, you know, like let them dry and whatever. I'm gonna finish this today, okay? So I burned my finger on hot glue. Whew! I hadn't done that in a while. Got me really good. And there's feathers and fur everywhere. I vacuumed already. What's fun about that is that this stuff never stays in the studio. It always gets tracked through the house. Somehow, I don't know how, it's like magic. So I'll be finding feathers everywhere for quite a while. Back to making gloves.
So I did get the gloves all patterned out, which was quite tricky, but it all goes horribly wrong for reasons that will become clear soon. For the purse, well, I was pretty mad about the gloves and really just needed to accomplish something. So I didn't have a plan. I just took some thin foam sheets and just started cutting and gluing.
What's your plan?
Oh, just some cutting and gluing.
Cutting and gluing what?
Yes.
Want to see something really stupid? Oh, goodness. So, here's what's going on. I look like a slob today, so you know what that means. It is time to get shit done. I cannot work on this project another day. I am so stressed. Because of myself and things that I have given myself to do. So this isn't I have to finish this today, and if I don't, I'll just finish it tomorrow. No, whatever is done by the end of today is it. That is what's going in the reveal. Doesn't matter what it is. That's it. So we have a purse, and let me tell you about the gloves really quick. So I made them partially, and they were bejeweled also, like they had the bedazzling on them. They didn't fit. Could not put them on my hand, and I made a large size. So they should have fit because I don't have large hands. Like they're you know, I'm not like a small person, but they're not big hands. Like they're like normal small lady hands. Like I don't know what you've heard, but they're normal sized hands, okay? I don't have big hands. So I made them once, and then I was like, well, maybe I just messed up. This is my fault. Didn't like do anything else outside of that. Was just like, okay, I should make these again. Cut them out again. And then I was like, maybe I should look at the instructions. That's you know, what a novel idea. Instructions. Yeah. Turns out they're made for stretch fabric. So I'm not going to cut them out again. Also, I don't have any stretch fabric. I don't work with knits often. So we're going to get rid of the gloves, I guess, because I just don't have it in me to make another pair. I mean, maybe, I guess I could just like do like kindergarten gloves and just trace my hand. I mean, that would work, right? They would look stupid, but have you seen this handbag? I will not apologize for that. And there's just too many things. There's just too many things. I just always think that I can do everything, and I can't. So one of the things has to go. I was initially going to get rid of the hat and just do the gloves because I was already making the gloves. And I didn't want to get rid of the purse because I'd already made the hand. So I was like, I'll get rid of the hat. The hat's a lot. So now I guess I'm going to get rid of the gloves and make the hat. I was able to throw this together in like, I don't know, half an hour, I think, because I had just realized what I had done with the gloves and was like, I need a win or I'm gonna cry. So I just kind of knocked this out. You know, it's like, it'll work. Don't actually put anything in it, like nothing. I don't think it will hold anything, but just like, it's just to look at. Like most luxury items, you don't actually use them, you just look at them. Because this handbag is a luxury item. Okay, I am losing my mind. Let's make a hat. We already said it's gonna be a normal, just pointed witch's hat. Let's go.
For the hat, same thing as the purse. We be cutting and we be gluing. For the flat part, is that called a bill? Is that the bill of a witch hat? Anyways, Katie's is all ruffled. It kind of reminds me of a scarecrow, so I just added some pleats to mine. For the wings, I did not feel like making any, and I could not find any at the store, but I did find this weird plant thing that was just awful to touch, but really gives the wing vibes. And more cutting, gluing, and painting for the lightning bolt, And now we assemble the whole thing with, you guessed it, more glue.
In the words of Cher, it's a full-on Monet. Stay back. And it looks okay. I mean, it's a hat with wings and a guy and a thunderbolt. So it's that, but also if you get real close to it, you really see the mess of it all. But it's done. So like, this little guy is really heavy. Did I not make him with foil? I thought I put foil inside. Maybe I didn't. He's really heavy. I don't know how I'm gonna keep this on my head. I even got the paintbrush. Not me staring at a hat that has a little guy coming out of it, contemplating my life's choices. I tried gloves again. I thought if I just made the like piece that goes between the fingers wider, it might be okay. It's not. I mean, it like kind of fits. See, this is where the stretch would come in. Like, this is not. And then the bobbin thread ran out when I was working on the thumb, and so that's when I was just like, nope, I can handle it not fitting, but like, I can't keep doing this for my own sanity. I can't keep doing this. Also, this is not helping with the rumor that I have big hands. I really don't have big hands. I don't know anymore. That's it. That's it. I can't. We're done. We're done. We did 3 of the 4 things, which I think is plenty. I will remember when I need to make gloves again in the future that I need stretchy fabric. Like Hulk out of these. Oh. But super quick, before we go into the results, if you enjoy my content and you want to see more, please subscribe. Also like and comment. Let me know how I did with this KK recreation. I'm pretty iffy about it. I think the dress is like spot on. You know what? I think once they're all together, I'll probably feel a little bit better about it. I'm maybe a little too down on myself for not being able to do the gloves. And without further ado, the results. Ta-da! That was really stupid, but I think it all came together really well. The little guy on the hat is so heavy that I had to put in one of my sewing weights into the other side of the hat because it just kept sliding off of my head, so it needed a counterweight. So there's that. I remember this morning that I had these gloves from a previous cosplay, and since I had already made the little eyeball hands, they're just taped on. There's just some double-sided sticky tape on there. And then I made the little $1 million price tag this morning, 2 seconds before I shot the reveal. I was really iffy on this one. I gotta trust the process more because I gotta trust the process. It all looks like garbage, but just keep going, and in the end, it'll be fine. It's usually fine. I mean, could things be better? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But with the time restraint that I had and the other like 50 projects that I'm doing all at the same time, I think this ended up being pretty good. Better than I thought or expected. This dress is quite ugly. What am I gonna do with this? I also forgot the hands on the clock. I genuinely forgot. I had meant to do it at some point, but it's probably best that I didn't because they would have gotten all tangled in my hair. I'm off to the Hobbit Festival in a couple days, so I gotta go pack for that. My next video is historical, so come back for that one, hopefully. It will be out in time when it's supposed to, but I don't know, honestly. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Probably. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Bye. It's a little hard to get enthusiastic and with the fall season when it's still 90 degrees outside. Where is that? Where is it? Crazy. Going crazy.